In this video, we will be going over the basic navigation tools for Navisworks Freedom. Now, navigating these 3D models is an essential part of actually being able to effectively use Navisworks, so it's important that you know how to use all of these different tools. So to start off, we've got our model up and ready here. Now, when we open our model, it'll bring us to the Home tab. This is what you will see. Now, if we want to get to the navigation aspect of things, you go up to this Viewpoint tab. By left-clicking on that, it will open up this Navigate section right here in the middle. And these are all of the tools that you can use to navigate these models. As you can see, there is a pan, there is a zoom, there is a look around, a walk, an orbit, and just by hovering over each and every one of these tools, it gives you a brief description of what that tool will do. By clicking each of these buttons, it will change the function of the left click button. For example, if we were to click the pan tool, now when I click my left mouse button, it pans in the X and Y axis, just drags the model around. Then if I wanted to orbit, for example, if I just left click on that orbit tool, now if I click my left mouse button, it will orbit around that pivot point that you see on the roof there. Likewise, for the look around tool, when left clicking that, now my left mouse button locks me in one spot and I just get to look around that fixed spot. Now let's take a look at the walk command. The walk command is probably one of the most useful tools within Navisworks. However, it's also maybe the most difficult to understand. Upon left clicking on the walk command, you'll see that I now have a little feet icon that I can use. Now, left clicking with the walk tool is pretty self-explanatory. If I click and hold down, then as I drag my cursor, it looks like I'm walking forward. Now, if I were to let go, I stop moving. Now, if I click and hold and then pull back, then I start to move backwards. Let go to stop moving. Now, if you were wanting to walk faster, then if I start all the way down at the bottom of the screen and I go all the way to the top, the further you move from that fixed point that you started, the faster you will go. So if I start up at the top here again and drag all the way to the bottom, you see I walk a whole lot faster. Now, not only does the left click button change, but the other buttons change as well. If you press and hold down the middle mouse button, just by dragging up and down, that will change your elevation. So let's say if I wanted to walk into the door down there, I would have to click and hold the middle mouse button and just drag down until my elevation meets that door. And now that I'm at that elevation, I can now use that same walk command to walk in. And the walk command will fly through these walls, as you just see, to go into the model space that you are wanting to view. Not only can you only walk forward and backwards with the walk command, but if you start from the right side of the screen, for example, and drag to the left, then it changes your angle of viewing. And likewise, from left to right, it just changes the way that you're looking. So in that manner, it's kind of like the look around tool that we analyzed earlier, but it's just a little bit more streamlined in that manner. Now, with that in mind, you can actually do a combination of these tools. So let's say if I was in this corner of the room and I wanted to walk, let's say, over to this point, as opposed to walking straight forward and then turning and then walking straight that way. If I start up at the bottom here and just drag, you'll see that I can go in kind of an arc manner. One more time. Start from the bottom. I'm going to drag kind of in an R shape, and that will have me walk and turn at the same time. Now, if we jump back out of this model using that elevation command, There is one more tool that you'll see up in the top bar here, and that is the steering wheel, the full navigation wheel. If you were to click this, there are a variety of different tools, steering wheels that you could use. For this example, we will use the full navigation wheel. And what this does is basically, um, it's like a hub for all of these different tools. So all of the tools that you see in the top will appear on here. There's the zoom, there's the orbit, there's the pan, there's the rewind, which we didn't get into. There's the walk, there's the look. So if I were to want to zoom, I could just go over to this door, say I want to zoom on the door, and I hold the left mouse button on that zoom, and now it activates the zoom command around the pivot point that I chose. Now the second I let go, that wheel will pop back up. So now let's say I want to orbit. Now where I'm at, I click and hold on that orbit, and now I can orbit. So these steering wheels are very useful if you're not wanting to change your tool constantly by going up to the top. And to also maximize efficiency, there is also a bar that you can see over here. This is enabled by default. However, you can kind of adjust it as you wish. But this just contains all of the navigation tools that you see up in the top, just over here on the side with the different icons. And that is the brief summary of these full navigation tools.